I just wanted to mention in this section that there are other tools that you can use to actually physically write your book. The ones that I've shown you are not the only tools, but I think that the more podcasts you listen to, the more that you immerse yourself in self-publishing, the more you will find that those are the sort of tools that most people gravitate to. Now, just because most people like a tool doesn't mean that you're going to get on with it. You may find things overcomplicated. You might have an older computer. You might have a different computer. You might run on Linux or something like that. People have different needs. So I just wanted to mention a couple of other tools that you just might find cheaper, more effective, or they might just suit your style a little more. I put a couple of them on this page, and to be honest with you, in my own self-publishing journey when I started out, I've tried most of these. I've had free trials of most of these. And I am where I am, which is I'm using Scrivener, I'm formatting in Vellum, I'm experimenting with Dragon Dictation, I have used Word, I have used Google Drive, but I have tried all of these at different points in my writing career so far. And I'm sure it will change once again. I know that the guys at the Self-Publishing Podcast, for instance, are creating a bespoke writing software. And those guys usually do a pretty good job of things, and that might blow everything else out the water. So in a year's time, I might have changed. I think the key message to get from this is to listen to what most people are saying works for them and to give those things a try. But you always need to be open to new things. New things are coming on the market all the time. So remain receptive to new ideas. So Juto I've tried. I think I must have bought it at some stage, but I didn't settle with it. I didn't use it myself in the end. I think I maybe used it as a tool. I was struggling when I started to work out how to change scripts into EPUB. So I think I probably used it to try and find out how to make and format decent EPUB files. But again, with Vellum, you don't really need that anymore. Vellum does that for you. Same with Calibri. That's probably why I use Calibri. It's very widely used, Calibri. A lot of people like it. Didn't suit me. I didn't stick with it, but there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. Kindle Writer, I'm sure, is another software that I took a trial of probably a couple of years ago. Nothing wrong with any of these softwares. They're just not what the majority of people are using, and they're not using them in the majority, usually for a variety of reasons, because other softwares do a more comprehensive job. But there's nothing wrong with any of these softwares at all. Sigil is one I haven't tried, but it's one I hear people talking about. It's a free open source software, and again, if you are struggling with the budget, if I'm talking to you about all these things and they all cost more money, and you're having to watch your budget more carefully, then try some of these free things. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's rubbish. A lot of people do use these softwares. And Story Wizard, I'm just trying to think. I'm sure I even took a trial of Story Wizard at one stage. I've tried so many different softwares. See, a lot of the reason I try software is I just like to be in the know. I just like to try these things out and see if they work for me and whether I can recommend them to people. But all of these have dropped off my radar now. But they're perfectly good softwares, and there are many others available that I haven't shown on this page. If you do a Google search for writing software, you'll see that there are many softwares. But the truth is, the majority of the people who are in self-publishing and have done a lot of it, the truth is that most of them will tell you that they use Scrivener, and most of them will tell you if they're using dictation software, they're using Dragon. And even though I've recommended Novel Factory to you, that's not a software that most people recommend to you. The bottom line is you've got to find out what suits you, what works well on your machine, what suits your style, the way you write, the way you think. Also, you've got to find something that suits your level of ability. If you really don't get on very well with computers, then you might hate Scrivener. And just because everybody else is using it doesn't mean that you should use it. So I would always recommend listen to what most people are saying, because it actually might help you. It might save you a lot of searching time. But always keep your mind open to other things, because if it works well for you, that's the bottom line. You've got to find something that works well for you, that makes your life easier. Just because everybody else is using Scrivener doesn't mean that's the right choice for you. So I've showed you a couple of alternatives on this screen. Do keep your ears open, listen to what other people are using. Give it a try, see if it works for you on your computer, the way that you work. If you don't like it, ditch it. If you love it, keep using it. But always remain receptive to something new that's coming along. This is a fast-changing industry. People are always trying to create new tools to make writers' lives easier. And don't get stuck in a hole just because you've used something for a year or 2 years. remain receptive to something new that's coming on the scene. Vellum is a good example of that. Vellum's just like the new kid on the block. It's been around for a while, but it's hit that critical mass now where enough people love it to be recommending it. And again, I didn't even know about Vellum for a while. I use a PC, so I couldn't even use it, but I found a way to use Vellum on a PC now. So I am now using Vellum, having found a way to use it on a PC, and instantly falling in love with it. So you've always got to remain open to these new softwares. Please remain close to them, because you're probably missing a trick if you do that. And just be aware that there are many softwares available at all sorts of different price ranges and for all sorts of different levels of ability. The trick for you is to find the one that suits you.